Hi, this is an update from Swale Ridge. I've just got to an important stage of the build on this new kite, so I thought it would be wise to share this particular part of the build with you. So it's time to insert the spar joiner piece. This is a slightly updated design. I've made it wider here to stop delaminations. You'll notice this was the first one, and earlier on this week first of all I forgot to wrap it in the Kevlar. Secondly, I was trying to push too hard, and of course we get maybe you can see the crack there, delamination. So I've redesigned it. It's thicker at the sides. I've wrapped it. This, by the way, I tend to put it in the vise, wrap this round as tightly as I can. It's this sort of Kevlar string. I think it might be for fishing, but I'm not sure. So it goes around several times. It's probably like 15 to 20 times, and then give it a soaking with runny super glue. It might need the hole clearing out as well. I don't use support material, but if you get in there with some sandpaper wrapped around a smaller tube, that should do the trick. And I like to have it kind of this sort of tightness. You can see I'm not putting too much force on there. Slides in nicely. There's a block at the end. The other side's the same. And sometimes these turn up a bit wider than they should. There's a certain amount of tolerance. I think it's even up to 0.3 of a mil. So if you get a wide one, it might not go in. But you can also sand. You might see this has been slightly sanded. It comes with like a glossy finish, which is probably 0.2 of a mil, so you can take that down to the carbon, and everything should fit nicely. When it comes off the bed, you want to round these edges to help it fit in the fuselage. Make sure you've cleaned off all the support material, particularly on this end. I haven't done a particularly nice job there, but anyway, yeah, just round these edges off, and you can, once it's wrapped, you can take down these flanges well to nearly nothing if you want. They don't do anything anymore for the strength. So this should fit in there like that. Don't force it, make sure it goes in nicely. You force it, you'll split something. So that should go in there like that, and the 3mm holes should align with the top, and of course later on you will put in there the thing that it clamps all against. But it should look like that both sides. Right, onto these wing one pieces. When it comes off the bed, there's quite a lot of support material in here, so it's going to be a bit of a job, depending on your printer, of course. If it comes away nicely, then lucky you, but mine often needs a bit of clearing up. So this needs to, let me just check recording, it hasn't stopped. Yep, it's looking okay. So these pieces need to fit in there nicely and go right down. I would say that's okay. And also the tail boom joiners, pieces like this, need to obviously slot into the wing as well. So everything might need a careful bit of sanding to get it all to fit nicely. Obviously the other side pops in there. This is slightly modified from the first version that's probably up online. It was quite difficult to get thick power cables bending around, so there's like 5mm. This is 5mm deeper, I think, or 4 from the previous one. And anyway, I think I overdid it with the power cables. It's not necessary to use such fat ones as I did before. So this should all, before you stick it to the plane, should all fit together nicely like that, with next to no gap there. So Once again, this spar hole might need a bit of clearing up, or the spar might need a bit of sanding smaller. That should fit in there. It's probably a bit tighter than I would like, but it's not too bad. And obviously you've put sorry, there we go. You put the alignment pegs in there and glued them in. A bit of rough sanding of both sides. And so about the glues. Well, I've been using quite a variety. Initially, I think I went with the sort of 2-part araldite. Kind of did okay, but I did notice a bit of coming unstuck in places. I also tried this 15-minute like modelling epoxy. And as I'm printing in ABS, and I recommend you do the same, I tried the basically poly cement, so it's meant to actually slightly melt the surfaces. That didn't seem great either, to be honest. So at the moment my favourite is like super glue, but in the gel form. This seems to work okay, and it gives you a bit of a fiddling time. It doesn't grab straight away. So that's what I'm using at the moment. So after you've cleaned up both sides, I tend not to glue the spars in, so avoid the area that might squish out into the spar. That should go like that, and a little bit of wiggling. I think I've actually used the tight end. This is just a spare bit of tube, and this one varies a little bit. This end is, oh, that's better, that's more like it. That's the sort of fit that I would like. So you can just sort of see how tight that is. That pops in there. The locating pegs do their job and locate. And then you've got to figure a way to squeeze these together. There's often a bit of a gap at the trailing edge. You might want to fill that later on, or tape over it or something. I think this is due to the warping of both sides. If you are doing it by squeezing both of them together, I do suggest you put on the rear canopy. Should give it some strength if you're squeezing them both together. But anyway, you should be able to arrange it so that the gaps, leading and trailing edges, are no more than about 1 mil, and you can fill them later on with whatever you like. Okay, let's just take that apart for a moment. So this is the new fuselage with the sort of canopy hole in the bottom here. This is sized to take the ZR10 gimbal. Of course, it can be used for many things, but it should be big enough for the ZR10 gimbal, which I intend to have on a kind of rotating thing, so it can be retracted. We've still got the scoop for the rear speed controller. What else here? There is new lugs to screw down the flight controller, because I thought basically the front might be inaccessible if there's a big gimbal sitting in there, so the whole flight controller would probably end up going further back. The old one had the GPS on the same tray. I am thinking of moving the GPS and compass slightly outboard. So one of the wing sides has got this gap in, which should take the Matec Perif CAN bus compass and GPS. What else can I tell you about this? So this one is going to be 6S. The previous kites have been 5, and in fact even the first one was a 4. But this is the 5S pack, and this is 5S4P, so it's 20 cells. This one is 18 cells, 6S 3P. Both of them are the RS50s. Seem to be a great cell, and I'm getting an excellent price from Cell Supply UK. The reason I went 6L is because I've got these new motors that are supposed to be self-aligning, although they can stop a little bit less than perfectly in other positions. But I think if we modify the AM32 firmware to give it a little jiggle, I think we can probably make sure it stops in the right place every time. And we'll be using, as in the previous versions, the Vim Drones 50 amp CAN bus ESCs. I've just done some bench testing on this stuff. This is a 15 by 5.5 prop, and I had it up at spending a few minutes at full power. The motor gets quite warm. The speed controller, amazing. It just stays perfectly cool. I'm loving these things. That's even without any sort of, well, I'll say without a heatsink, but I guess this copper bit is kind of a heatsink there. Right, I think that's more or less it for the time being. Hopefully this recorded properly. Cheers.